Today we're going to be looking at the newest fixed angle sharpening system to come to market, the Sharpal 202H. I know they've got some weird names. Now this is a sponsored video, so rather than just sit here and tell you, I'm going to try and show you what the system is, and at the time of this video for $169, what it does. And I even brought in an outside source, a complete beginner, and got their opinion on this thing as well. So you're not just relying on my testimony. So one of the downsides though of a fixed angle system is drops. If you die here, you stay dead. Now first off, fixed angle systems are mostly the same. They all kind of do the same thing, which is to clamp the blade into place and sharpen it with an adjustable angle rod with an attached abrasive. And there's a lot of systems out there that do this. At one point, this was a fixed angle system too, but it's so bad that I've cannibalized it and used pieces elsewhere. But in its overall function, it works exactly the same way. So I think when it comes to fixed angle systems, for a lot of people, value is really what matters. Basically, what are you getting for the money? Hi, Future Alex here. The video is done, all ready to be uploaded. I'm just throwing this in here because I've currently been told that November 20th through December 1st, for Prime members only, this thing is on sale for like 143 bucks. It's kind of insane. So check the link below. And if you're in the market for one of these fixed angle systems, it's gonna be hard to find a better deal than this. So for me, when it came to analyzing what a fixed angle system should be and what are the good and bad things about it, there's really two things that I look at, and that is the clamp system and the abrasive itself. Now the 202H has these very stable aluminum clamping jaws that do a very good job of holding various blade shapes and sizes in place. And they also attach to a very sturdy, like super sturdy frame. It's not flimsy in any way. Didn't break, but don't do this. It will void your warranty. It isn't how it's intended to be used. Now the jaws themselves flip back and forth with a lift and flip type mechanism. It works just fine and is super sturdy. Maybe not the quickest to flip, but I think the sturdiness more than makes up for the lack of speed. Now the dual clamps are really good for larger knives, but you can also use a single clamp for the smaller stuff with no negative effects. It works exactly the same way. Now the jaws themselves are not padded, which I actually prefer. Sometimes with padded jaws, you can get flex in the blade holding capabilities due to the padding. Now the downside of this is that you may need to protect your blade with tape or something else in order to keep from scuffing your blade in bare aluminum jaws, but it's something that I never do, like ever. I don't use tape or anything ever on any of my knives when I'm sharpening them. They're meant to be used. If a scuff gets on it, oh well. Now even padded jaws can get abrasive stuck on them and cause scratching or scuffing. The main thing here is tape both padded and non-padded for a guaranteed scuff-free. And as you can see here, no scuffs on this blade after the bare aluminum clamping. It's really a non-issue in my opinion. Keep them clean and you'll be good to go. Now the next thing to mention here are the stones themselves. Out of the box, the plated stones came looking very nice with nice uniform abrasive. Now after break-in with a few knives, the stones mellowed out into a good usable condition. So for clarity, here are the stones under the microscope. We got the 220 grit, the 325, the 600, and the 1000. All the particles look very uniform, and that's something that quality plated abrasives should have. Now in this kit, you get a 220, a 325, a 600, and 1000 grit plated diamond stones, which honestly I think is overkill. They could have completely left out the 325 grit if they wanted, but they didn't, and you get it, so that's good. What I mean here is the 600 has no problems removing the 220 grit scratches. The 325 isn't really necessary between these two stones, but it's a good added bonus. Think of this as an extra profiling stone. Also, you get some finer 3000 and 6000 grit water stones, which can give you a good mirror polish if that's what you want. Again, I think that this is kind of overkill, and honestly, I think I'd rather have just a plain ceramic stone rather than the water stones, but that is 100% personal preference. Some may actually prefer the water stones instead of the ceramic, so I'm just throwing that out there. Now also, it includes a strop, a leather strop with like a little bag of green compounds. And as you can see, I didn't really use the green compound because for me, I would always recommend diamond compound over green compound any day of the week. It is nice that they include it, but I did not use it because I like diamond and it's what I recommend. I think we'll save that as a topic for another video. But what I did here is I added some 6 micron diamond to the strop that they gave, and I use this strop by hand. I don't use it in the system. It's nice that they have this, but I just never got used to the feeling of stropping on a fixed angle system. I gotta use the strop by hand, and that's what I do. This is just how I use it. There's no reason that you can't use it in the system. You just have to be really careful not to accidentally push the strop into the blade because you will ruin your strop. So maybe use it by hand. It's probably a little bit safer. It's nice that they have one because you're gonna need one anyway. Another quick mention is you can buy extra strops if you need to. If you wanna do 6, 1 and 1/10 micron, you got the option to doing that for about 10 bucks a piece. Now the angle adjustment is another thing to mention here. I really like how there's almost an infinite amount of adjustability for your angles. On some systems, you really are limited on minimum and max angle. Not here. You can really go super acute or more obtuse or super obtuse. I know that's probably not the correct terminology, but you guys will understand. One thing that you may want to look into though with any fixed angle system is an angle finder. You can get these for pretty cheap on Amazon. Not this brand, but cheaper brands that work just as well. Now, even though most of these systems have these angle indicators built into the system, they're almost never accurate. That has nothing to do with the system itself. It has basically everything to do with the blade width that you have clamped into the system and how far that blade is clamped into the jaw. So there we're at about 22 degrees. There we're at 24.5 degrees. Since moving the blade back and forth in this direction will change the angle slightly. So an angle finder will definitely help you dial in your angle. But honestly, this really doesn't matter on a budget system. Your main goal is to simply find the angle that's usually already on the knife, which is easy to do with a marker, which they also happen to include. The exact angle that you sharpen your knife to doesn't really matter. What matters is keeping that angle consistent from sharpening to sharpening, and if you do want to adjust that angle, you can adjust it 1 degree at a time. It may just not be the actual angle that you have on your knife. You can still adjust it 1 degree at a time using the angle indicators on the side of the sharpener. And this is universal on every system. The only way to get your actual real angle is to use some sort of an angle finder on the guide rod itself. Now it's easy for me to sit here and say that this is a good value system and it's super easy to use and all that good stuff with my personal decades of knife sharpening experience. However, what if I gave this to someone who's never used one before? Like a fixed angle system period, with very little experience and got their unfiltered, unbiased opinion.
Let me try and figure it out first. It's like, and it already doesn't work how I think it's supposed to.
Okay, so I gave some very basic instruction on how to assemble it and how to use it, but I mean very basic. Put it in there like that, and then you can raise or lower. So now you can switch grits.
Never seen one, never used one.
That's hard to believe. People aren't gonna believe that.
Why?
I just won't introduce you as my brother. This is just some guy off the street. It's like almost impossible to believe.
What, that I've never seen one?
That you're my brother and you've never seen a fixed angle before. So I don't think that's totally true because he's definitely seen them before. Because he's been in this shop before and they're literally everywhere in here. Whether or not he's noticed them or paid any attention to them whatsoever is completely different.
Well, how do I know when I'm done?
One thing is for sure that he has definitely never used one before. Does it feel sharp?
I think so.
Yeah, it feels pretty sharp actually. That actually feels really sharp. I'm surprised. So we tried to use the strop by hand and was having problems holding the correct angle. So we took the strop and attached it to the system to use it how it was supposed to be used. If you go into it, you're going to ruin the strop.
Need another strop. They don't make any more strops.
If you die here, you stay dead. Leather doesn't heal itself. So now you can flip it over and do a couple alternating passes. So after some basic instruction on our test knife, He pulled out his own knife from his pocket and he sharpened his own knife from scratch in about 6 minutes. Then I asked him how much he thought it cost. So one of the downsides though of a fixed angle system is you're giving up one thing for another. So you're giving up the skill aspect for a cost, like an actual dollar cost.
Right.
How much do you think this thing is?
$159.95.
Is that your final answer?
I'm gonna say somewhere in the ballpark of $600.
No, I'm not even close.
Really?
Yeah. Should have said stuff with your first one.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's around 160, 170 bucks.
Oh man, I was like right on.
So do you think it's worth it for that price?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Like, and I didn't tell you
sure.
to say that.
No, you didn't. Because I could see huge use in this. In fact, I would probably use this.
You kind of want one?
More often than I would a regular. Like, I have a stone that I never use because it's a pain in the butt to use.
Because you have to have the skill in order to use it.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I just don't have the time to invest in that right now. It's just not one of my priorities. But if I had this, I think I would definitely be more into sharpening the knives I have.
Oh, it actually looks really good. So he did really good sharpening his own knife. But I decided to give him a slightly harder challenge. Sharpen this. Now I did push this thing to its design limits, sharpening this NAF's Lander 2 and S35VN to the 6000 grit stone, and stropped on a 1 micron diamond strop. And it was absolutely ridiculous. Now, I had trouble getting it to whittle because it was so sharp it would just slice right through the hair, but if you're careful, you can do it. I mean, this is beyond a level of sharpness that almost anybody would ever need. There we go. Got it to whittle. So I do realize that we didn't touch on every single feature this thing has, and to be honest, I'm not really sure that any of that matters. If a beginner can do this with some basic instructions in under 10 minutes, what else do we really need to go over? I don't know, maybe the fact that you can get a 2-pack of replacement stones for like 20 bucks? I think for the price, that's hard to beat. But that's just my opinion. Maybe we'll do a full uncut instructional video on fixed angle sharpening in the near future, since there are a lot of little tricks here and there that can really help improve even on a fixed angle system. In the meantime, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Don't do that. It'll get demonetized.